the youth of South Sudan are often relegated to lower political positions. Can this change given the political climate of the country? Join us as we discuss this and more on Beyond the Headlines. We're joined today by a rising political figure within South Sudan who represents the other political parties within the country. It is none other than Honorable Paulino Lukudu Obede. Thank you for joining me here on the program.
Thank you very much, Ines, and thanks to the viewers of this program.
On May 16, 2021, you were suspended as Minister of Information and Communication through a gubernatorial order issued by the governor of Central Equatoria State, Emmanuel Adil Anthony. According to your party, other political parties, which is abbreviated as OPP, the governor's order did not specify the reasons for your suspension. Therefore, what factors contributed to your suspension?
Yeah, thank you very much, and thanks to the viewers of this particular program. I was surprised, like many other people, because when I was suspended as a Minister of Information in Central Equatoria State, I was actually busy doing my duty the same day, and even the same hour. The order came and found me actively in the duty late evening. What we've been doing that day is actually moving around to all the houses of the 4 soldiers who are from the protection unit of the governor shot along Yubayei Road, and we moved to their houses to pay condolence of the government of Central Equatoria State to the families and the loved ones of the deceased. And it's very unfortunate that we lost dedicated, hardworking, and patriotic soldiers from the protection of the governor of Central Equatoria State, Emmanuel Adil Anthony. The surprise that came to me, it surprised not only me, but it surprised the whole nation and the whole world. Looking into the contents of the suspension, the indefinite suspension. First, there is nothing in the world or in South Sudan, in the laws of South Sudan, called indefinite suspension of a minister. We all know that constitutional post holders will not be suspended. They will be appointed or they will be removed from the position, decreed out or decreed in. But that was the history of what had never happened in the history of South Sudan since we get the independence of Sudan until we get the independence of South Sudan. Nothing like a minister was suspended. 2, of course, the articles quoted by the governor of Central Equatoria State, we all know that the article does not conform with the peace agreement because my party was not consulted. And it was a shock for OPP to learn that, especially where I came from, the National Alliance of Political Parties. They were not informed of what happened. And the constitution the governor quoted was not in existence. But there is engagement going on between the leaders of the political parties, especially the OPP and the governor of Central Equatoria State and other stakeholders in the government of Central Equatoria State and even at the national government to ensure that we resolve this issue amicably.
Now, it is important to note that the OPP released a press statement in which they stated that in regards to your suspension, the order has clearly violated the spirit and letter of the ARCUS that in such cases requires prior consultation with the nominating party, which is OPP leadership. Now, to move on, you're the leader of the United South Sudan Party. Can you go ahead and tell us more about it since a lot of us are not familiar with it?
Yes, as per the junction now, there is a registered 14 political parties in South Sudan, registered parties which have their own certificate. And United South Sudan Party, where I'm leading in, is party number 9 registered in the Republic of South Sudan, and it was registered in Sudan. So I am the second leader after Honorable Clement Juma Genua, who is also currently the appointed member of the National Assembly under the ticket of Sawa. He is now in Sawa, but I was appointed by the members of the High Executive Committee of the party to lead the party. And from 2018 and up to the moment, I am the leader of the United South Sudan Party, USSP, one of the registered political parties in the Republic of South Sudan. And this party been existing. Of course, the party was formed in London by the group of the intellectuals, South Sudanese, who think that South Sudan problem is only execution of the policies, implementing of the ideas, which is a non-violent political party. We don't have an armed wing. We always advocate for peace. We use thoughts and ideas. So when there is a differences between United South Sudan Party and any other party in the Republic of South Sudan, it will only be a difference of ideas and ideologies. And we don't encourage violence. We are not part of the violence, and we don't have an armed wing. We have civic political party, which is currently operating in the Republic of South Sudan and having a headquarter office which is here in Juba. So the party is running its activities under other political parties, OPP. And in OPP, there is a group of the parties. There is a group of the National Alliance political parties, which United South Sudan Party is one of the parties in the National Alliance of political parties.
Mm-hmm. Now, you're among the youngest political figures within the country. How did you start your involvement in politics? What drew you to politics?
Yes, when I was in university, let me just take it a little bit back. Immediately after I finished my secondary school in Juba Day Secondary School here in Juba, I decided to choose a political science as my profession in university, which is University of Juba in Khartoum. And I took interest both in studying the political party as a political science as my profession and joining political party as my activity. So from there, I started taking interest in politics, and I joined United South Sudan Party as a member in 2011. And I continued being a member until I was elected as the youth league leader of United South Sudan Party. And from there, I was also being appointed as the Deputy Secretary General, and until become Secretary General. And later on in 2018, I was elected by the National Executive Council of United South Sudan Party to lead the party. That one was almost when the revitalized peace agreement has kicked off, and HLRF, where I participated fully in the umbrella of the National Alliance of the political parties. So it was a journey from being a member to the youth league leader, from youth league leader to the deputy SG to SG, and to be the leader of the same party that I'm running in. And today I'm very much glad that young people are taking part in politics of the Republic of South Sudan, because the future of tomorrow starts with what we do today. And today determines how will the future look like.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that is interesting, because there's that perception that perhaps, one can really just get into politics and be a minister right away, but it requires a slow progression. And in order to really understand the different steps that are taken to grow both mentally as well as having that political charisma as well as knowledge, because politics is not about just acquiring a position or being placed in a position, but there are a lot of things behind it as well.
Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Now to move on, you're part of the Constitution Amendment Committee, which is really an important position to hold. And there's such a few number of our population, particularly the youth, who have an understanding of what the Constitution is. So what is your role in this capacity?
Yes, I was when I was appointed as a Minister of Information and Communication by His Excellency, the President of the Republic, Salva Kiir Mayardit, in Central Equatoria State. Then I thanked him, and I also thank the Governor of Central Equatoria State who bestowed trust on me and appointed me as a member of the Central Equatoria State Amendment Committee. And in the Amendment Committee, I was also being appointed as the Secretary of Information in the committee, which means anything related with the dissemination of the state constitution fell under my prerogative as the Information Secretary of the committee. And the work that I will do in the committee, we have not started the real work yet, because last week, in my absentia, the government of Central Equatoria State launched this constitution amendment workshop, in which they involve other categories who are not members of the committee to witness the launching. And definitely this week, they will start with the reviewing of the state constitution. But what we wanted to know is that the state constitutions will conform with the hard access, with the revitalized agreement on the resolution of conflict, some of the articles. Because when you look at the state constitution now, when you look at the revitalized agreement, they don't conform in terms of many other things. Even the parties, the representation of the government is not enshrined in the state constitution.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Now, when you're reinstated back as the Minister of Information and Communication, how do you plan on really addressing the issue of lack of knowledge of the Constitution among the population in which you serve?
Yes, one of it, before even I was indefinitely suspended from my role as a minister, I started to bring the leaders close to the people by creating a platform, especially our people more of depending on listening to radio as the only means of accessing information very cheaply, because you can buy a battery and it can last for days. So they more listen to radio. And I start creating programs in one of the radio stations here in Juba called Summer FM, which is supposed to be every Friday. I will come with the ministers, with the commissioners, with the state government officials to the radio. They will talk to the people so that the gap between the leaders and the people will be closed. People will talk directly to the leaders, and the leaders will talk directly to their people, so that they lay out their programs and plans. And in terms of the awareness or dissemination of the Constitution, it is the prerogative that we enlighten people about the Constitution, starting from chapter 1 up to the last chapter of the Constitution, including most basically about the knowledge of the revitalized peace agreement, the parties in the peace agreement, and the procedures of appointment and procedures of dismissing them, and even the Bill of Rights of the citizens, which is chapter 2 of the state constitution, Bill of Rights, so that the citizens do know that their rights in participating in the government decisions, their rights in engaging in political processes.
Recently, you wrote an article in which you titled it Chaotic South Sudan. You stated in that article that South Sudan is the land of drama. Here, you can see whatever you haven't witnessed in any part of the world: ideological bankruptcy, short-sighted politicians, confused citizens, etc. The Political Parties Act, the Transitional Constitution, and the ARCAS has embraced multipartisan and political pluralism. But today, your tribe can decide your political fate more than your political party or your qualifications. What did you mean by that statement?
Yes, of course, the transition is having both the positive and the negative impact. The positive impact is trying to bring people together, which is the spirit of inclusivity. And the negative impact is assumption on the political processes. People assume political processes, sometimes more than the real political procedure that is enshrined in so many laws, including the Political Parties Act, the Constitution of the Republic of South Sudan, and even the Revitalized Agreement on the Resolution of Conflict in the Republic of South Sudan. The political pluralism is recognized by the Transitional Constitution of the Republic of South Sudan 2011 as amended, and even the constitutions of the state embrace the political pluralism, whereby all parties, like a multi-party system, whereby parties has rights to participate in the political arena in the country. But when you look at some of the appointment in the government today, you will see that communities are involved in the decision of who will be appointed. We have seen during the appointment of the commission, not only even the commissioners. Let me start with the commissioners of the counties. A commissioner in the county they will give opportunity to one community to nominate a commissioner. And instead, the agreement is very clear that the community, the party that has a commissioner will have rights to appoint the commissioner. But you will see that last time the commissioner came from the east side, this time the commissioner should come from the west side. The next time will come from the north side, and next time will come to the south side. Instead of getting somebody who is formidable with the knowledge of addressing the problem faced by the people in particular county, but instead this is now like a community representation. It's a means of a political community representation that I've realized that it is not workable. If you need to reach out to that, do new things.
Yes. How can you then engage the community more? Because you tend to see that politicians and political parties are following their own interests. They are aligned with their own vision for where their party should be. And they have less interest in providing services to their communities, and they are fighting with the community. So how can you as a politician, particularly your party as well and others, engage the community in the decision-making of appointments and also ensure that you gain the trust of the community by following through on the promises that you've stated?
I can assure you that the majority of our communities in South Sudan don't look currently on who will be their leader. They look on who will deliver their services. So our community requires that. They need services. Then we will come back to implement the agreement peacefully so that we'll move from the transition period to a period whereby the communities will have the rights to elect their leaders. When the communities have rights to elect their leaders, it depends, because not only your community going to elect you. That is what we are trying to make people understand. When your community is going to elect you, you will not win, because any office, you will be elected by the people in the constituency you are going to run in, whether it's for the parliament, whether it's for the commissionership, whether it's for the presidency. So equally, you love them. Equally, you give them services, and equally you listen to them, and equally you bring them close to you, and they become close to you and listen from them. So this transition will only happen when we definitely, in letter and in spirit, implement the revitalized peace agreement.
Yes. Now, I found this comment that you wrote quite interesting, in which you stated that South Sudan is endowed with wealth of human and natural resources that could bring about a reasonable rate of sustainable development. To achieve the level of development needed requires more than just a change of the environment. We must change the culture of work, and the way we conduct business shouldn't be as usual. We must be receptive to new ideas and be willing to learn good lessons from more successful countries. We cannot afford to reject new ideas. We can only survive and grow if we embrace change. Given the statement you wrote, what are some of the good ideas that you're talking about that you hope to implement that could transform South Sudan?
Yes, the ideas are two different ways. One, the ideas to the political leaders. Two, the ideas to the people. Ideas to political leaders is that our country is tired of violence of any kind, intercommunal violence, a civil war, rebellions, displacement. Those are the decisions that are mostly taken by the political leaders, not by the people. People don't choose to displace themselves. People don't choose to form a rebellion. It is the political leaders that choose to displace people. Political leaders choose to do the other things that people cannot be in the country. Then the other message going to the people is how they view the political participation. My best knowledge of my background as a graduate of political science, when you look at the political culture in the Republic of South Sudan, you will understand that South Sudan does not have a participatory political culture. We have a subjective political culture, whereby we subject ourselves to what happened in politics. We don't question, we don't ask them. Then there is a partial political culture, which people knows that in partial political culture, people Especially people don't understand what is the government doing, what is the role of the government, who is the minister of what, and what is the minister supposed to do, what is the constitution saying, what is the agreement saying. People don't know anything about the political process in the country, and are not even just knowing, they don't even care whether what will happen, what is there, they even don't care. They don't know and they don't care. Then the subject or subjected political culture, people subject themselves to what the government wants without questioning. Example, if the government say that we are increasing tax on internet today, people, okay, this is the government. Let us comply. You don't complain. Okay, let us do this. People subject themselves to the government, which means in one way or another, people don't hold the government accountable. So for us to have that developing South Sudan, a better South Sudan for all of us, the nature of politics, whereby the culture of politics in South Sudan, from how people view politics, it has to change. But for it to change, which means the leadership of the country first, they have to cease all types of violence, discuss politics of ideas. People should disagree ideologically without resorting to any type of violence, so that they will have opportunity and heart of accepting the new ideas, the ideas of people mindset to change from being a subjected political culture to participatory political culture, whereby citizens will participate freely without fear of repercussion.
In conclusion, what advice could you give our youth who are interested in getting into politics, but yet they might either lack the knowledge or they do not see any pathway to enter into this political arena? What advice or what words of encouragement can you offer them?
To our youth is nothing for us without us. We cannot be on the back seat and waiting somebody to do something for us. There is no young people, there is no youth in South Sudan who sign on the paper of destruction of South Sudan or who form a system to destroy South Sudan. We always been co-opted. Young people are co-opted to rebellion, young people are co-opted to protect some of the elites. And that should not be the culture. We can also be leaders, but we are not actually coming to leadership as young people to fight the elders. No, we are coming to learn from them. They know more, but also we are bringing new ideas so that we co-lead with them. We co-lead with them. We are not coming to compete with our elders. We are coming to co-lead. We are coming to learn from them and pick up from there. And to the leadership, of course, the elders in politics and the elders of the country, let them give us opportunity to serve South Sudan together with them. Let them see us as people who are willing to learn than people who are willing to take power from them. We are not coming to take power from them in politics as now. We are coming to learn from them. We are coming to keep the legacy, because the future of South Sudan depends on the youth. And today, youth in the different continents, in the different countries, are actually the ones which are building their countries, because we had the largest population, and which is the demography of 72% are young people, 65% are women, according to 2008 census. So our country is blessed with the human resources. So these human resources to be put in a culture of the development of the country rather than the culture of the destruction of the country.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Paulino Lukudu Obede, for joining me here on Beyond the Headlines.
Thank you very much, and thanks to the viewers of the Beyond the Headlines.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page at Sunrise Media.